this is Sean K with Velocity Videos, and today I'm going to be talking to you about minding the details, paying attention to the little details and why they really matter in whatever you want to achieve, whatever success you want to have, and how that really plays a part. And I'm going to give you an example from Disney. I've got this little chocolate bar here. These are some of the mouse bars you can get at Disney. I got a little replica of one right here, so I just thought I'd show you that. I used to work at Disney. I was a ride operator at Test Track. So when I was in college, I actually worked in the park and one of the attractions because I really wanted to experience what it'd be like to be a cast member at Disney, because it was a place that I'd been many times and I really respected the culture and I wanted to experience what it was like to be a Disney cast member. And it was everything I thought it was and more. But today what I want to tell you about is a story that I found when I was working there, and it was the idea of a phrase called bumping the lamp. And I don't know if you heard of this phrase, or you heard someone say it, but that phrase actually comes from the Disney Animators themselves. It comes from a story from a movie called Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And for those of you watching, some of you may not even been alive when that movie came out, because it came out back in 1988. Or some of you may have been too young to watch it at the time. But the movie that came out at that time was actually a landmark film for its day, in the fact that it was one of the first movies that really combined animation and live action in such a seamless fashion that it never had been seen before. I mean, it really was groundbreaking. And it won a lot of Academy Awards for visual effects, sound editing. Industrial Light and Magic was the production house that did a lot of the effects from the film. So it was outstanding in all regards. And one of the really cool stories that came out of it was this idea called bumping the lamp. And let me tell you exactly what it is. There's a scene in the movie where Eddie Valiant, the detective, is fighting with Roger Rabbit, the cartoon character in the movie, right? And they're fighting over, they actually have handcuffs on. And Eddie Valiant wants to get it off, so he actually takes a saw and wants to start sawing through the handcuffs. Well, he gets on a table, starts doing it, right? So they film the scene, all is good. Well then, Robert Zemeckis, the director of Roger Rabbit, was viewing the footage, the raw footage, and he decides it would be really fun to have something else in the scene, another dynamic. So what he decided is to have a fun gag where Roger Rabbit and Eddie Valiant bump their heads on the lamp above, hence bumping the lamp. And the lamp starts swinging and there's light cascading through the room, and it's kind of a funny gag that really added to the scene. So they reshot the scene, and one of the most arduous tasks was they had to reanimate Roger Rabbit completely. All the Disney animators had to go back and animate every single cell again, as far as the nuances of the light, so that the light would be accurate for Roger Rabbit's face, for the shadow they were casting on the ground. They wanted to make sure that that was all accurate. Now, the story goes, the animators didn't need to do this. They could have just left the scene as it was and everything probably wouldn't have been noticed. It was a lot more simple back then. They probably wouldn't even notice that the light exactly matched when the lamp went by, that the shadow matched it exactly. But they went the extra effort. Did they decide to do it because they were going to win an Oscar? Or did they decide to do it because people would pay attention and give them praise? Most likely not. They decided to do it because it was the way that Disney Animators operated. That they wanted to do things an extra step. You know, making sure that they were paying attention to every little detail, every little nuance in everything that they did. You know, everything we do in life when we create things, they're impermanent. You know, they'll come and go, the things that we do, that we create. But the actual actions, how we do things, will stay with us for our whole life, right? How we do something is something that isn't impermanent, it stays with us. Our caring, the caring we put in something. His idea was to challenge yourself to do it for your own reasons. And that's something I would like to challenge you to do, is what are some areas of your life that you could start noticing the details a little bit better? What are some areas that you could bump the lamp, you could say, or pay attention to a lot of more details in your life? Because I found that when you pay attention to the little details, all the little details, the big things end up happening. And a certain experience, I used to work at the Ritz-Carlton, and a certain experience there was orientation. When you come into orientation, you're given, everything's given to you, your drinks, your beverages, all in fine china, and you have your own name tent with your name professionally made, white tablecloths, the whole 9 yards, because this is your first experience of the Ritz-Carlton experience. And orientation is a big part of the welcome into that experience. Our society really does value people that notice and pay attention to all the little details. I'll give you an example. You know, if you think of Stradivari, I don't know if you've heard of that, but Stradivari is a particular type of violin that was made in the 16 and 1700s by Antonio Stradivari. And those violins were made with such craftsmanship and such quality that they actually their sound has not been replicated, and people are astounded how they were able to create such a unique, wonderful sound that they have. But the quality was so good that if you purchased one of those violins today that was made during the 16 and 1700s when he was creating these violins, they would go for hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars for that one violin. So that just shows the amount of value that's placed on people paying attention to all the little details, people noticing that. It's very easy to rush through things and get to where you need to go to achieve your goal. But how can you challenge yourself to look at more of the details? Well, I just challenge you. This will be your action step today. Try to look at, in your everyday tasks, everything that you're doing, just break it down to what are some of the little details maybe that I'm not noticing, that I could start to notice if I really wanted to. So I challenge you, ask those questions, and I'll be creating a part 2 of this video because I want to talk a little bit more about how you can get more into the details and some of the specific benefits and how you can really enjoy the process. Okay. But that's it for today. Check out Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's a great movie. If you want some great success tips that will help you along the way, click below at speakupmore.com and get my free ebook, and you'll get free communication tips every week. Go forth and make it a great day.